Hey everybody, it's Dr. Jason, and today we're going to be tackling three of the biggest lies surrounding ADHD and other sensory challenges. Lie number one is this. Lie number one is that we don't really know exactly what's causing ADHD or what ADHD is. It's this subjective checklist of symptoms that give us this ambiguous diagnosis. No, that's a lie. We know exactly what it is and what's causing it. And while I know, and while science completely backs this statement up, there's not one thing that causes sensory challenges or ADHD, but there's a myriad of stressors, physical, chemical, and emotional stressors that are bombarding our babies, our kids, our toddlers, and even our teenagers every single day that are thrusting, getting these kids' brains and nervous systems stuck in the fight or flight spectrum. The sympathetic spectrum. Again, this is the spectrum of spectrum challenges. We know what it is. It's the inability for the brain and nervous system to adapt to all these different types of stressors. What are they? You really don't have to go past your birthday, the day you were born. Birth trauma is quite possibly the most overlooked childhood epidemic facing our kids today. It is a stressful process, not just for moms. When we go to cranking and torquing and vacuum extracting a baby, we're not just stretching their muscles, we're stretching their brainstem. The brainstem is ground zero for the fight or flight response. So again, you don't have to be 30 seconds old to be stuck in fight or flight. But we look at what our kids are doing with their bodies on a regular basis, or more importantly, in this side of the world, not doing with their bodies. We're stuck in desks, we're stuck in front of tablets, we're stuck in front of Netflix, we're stuck in front of switches. We're looking at all these different things on a regular basis and not doing the regular things, the important things, the integral parts of development of movement. So that's physical stressors. We haven't even got to chemical stressors. Just look at our diet, look at our environment, look at the medications we're taking. Class 2 controlled substances are the treatment plan for these challenges. Again, not defined by me, but by the FDA. We have to look at what we're putting into our kids' body, what we're putting into our environment, outside, but also inside with our kids' environment. Antibiotics are passed out like candy. Again, we're stressing our kids out. Look at their diets. There's physical, there's chemical, and there's also emotional stressors. We are the most stressed out society in the history of societies. So you got the physical, the chemical, the emotional stressor, all bombarding these kids' brains on a regular basis, sometimes from the very second they are born. It's not a surprise that we have so many kids with sensory challenges. In fact, I think it's a miracle that so many don't, that we're able to adapt. That's a testimony to how powerful the brain is. That is lie number one, that we don't really know what it is. It's not a subjective checklist. It's all but a guarantee with what we're doing with our kids and babies. So lie number two is that we can only manage these challenges. We can only dilute these symptoms. We can only just hope and wish and pray and chemically alter these kids' behavior. That's a lie. It's not true. If we know what's causing it, we can avoid these stressors, yes, and hopefully prevent these challenges. But if a nervous system that is stuck in fight or flight is at the root and the foundation of every single one of these challenges, why don't we get that brain and neurology to go back to that parasympathetic side of things, that rest and digest side of things, that healing, that connection, that adaptation mode? That's exactly where healing takes place. Not symptom management, not I hope they don't have a meltdown 5 times a day, not I hope that their digestive system just can make it through this weekend. No, we're talking about healing, not treating, but your body actually having the ability to heal. Myth number 3, you know what? Not a myth, it's a lie. That it's anybody's guess as to what's going on with these kids' brain and neurology. No, we don't have to guess anymore. Science has given us cutting edge technology to measure these neurological responses. That whole fight or flight spectrum, yeah, that's measurable. And not just by chiropractors, cardiologists, neurologists came up with this technology. And if you're a nerd like me, research it. It's called heart rate variability. Harvard Medical Review just had a study on this. Our body's ability to adapt to all these stimuli and all these stressors is the definition of health. That's one of 3 scans we actually use in our practice. We also use thermography so we can zero in to see if that brainstem is showing signs of irritation. We also use a surface EMG scan that was developed by neurologists that measure that activity, that stress response, that tension, that overwhelming irritation that is just thrust over this child's body and brain so that they can no longer adapt to stress. When it comes to your child's health, we're never going to guess. We measure these things. There are so many other opinions and myths and lies about sensory challenges, but I wanted to tackle these 3 today. We know exactly what it is and what's causing it. We also know that it isn't something that's just being managed and wished and hoped about. It's not something subjective. And it's also something clinically we can measure. And not just measure where your kid's at, but thank God where they can go. We can measure progress every single step of the way. If you have questions, thank God. That makes you a great parent. You should ask them. Ask them in the comments section below. Share this video. Make sure you're the right parents get this information, because there is hope, there's healing, there's facts, and there's truth. And we got it all here to give to you and to your family and to a better future. Thanks for connecting with us.